Hey guys, what's up? Game Pizza Boy here, host of the Pizza Party. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing great. I am back once again for another XDefiant faction guide video. Now, I just want to make this kind of clear also, just to let you know that why I've been a little bit slow getting that video out right there and not making much about XDefiant lately right now at the moment because, well, obviously the game has been kind of a little bit slow lately when it comes to the content, stuff like that. The recent new map, Rockefeller, coming out right there, which is pretty cool. Honestly, I actually think it's a pretty cool small arena type map that I've been having fun, but obviously the game's been quite slow lately and it's just not been, to me, as much exciting right now. There's still a lot of things that need to work on and more content needs to be released. We're still waiting for Season 2, but hopefully we'll hear some news about it very soon. I'll have a video out for that in the future, of course, and hopefully it will stay strong enough, especially with BO6 coming out. Although, I mean, obviously, I've seen a lot of mix going on with BO6 lately. Some people like it, some people don't. And obviously, it's concerning for people who are obviously fans of XDefiant, like myself, obviously. So, hopefully, we'll see something very big very soon from the developers. So, hopefully, it will, just get some excitement going on. So pray for that for sure for the game right now. But for now, we'll see what happens. But I got to get back to the guide videos. I still got 2 more factions I got to do. And today, right now, I'm going to be showing you a full complete guide on the Phantoms from Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Phantoms right there. These guys are pretty cool right there with their defense-related base abilities. Just that focus on just very defense and strength right there in their own way to handle all the damage that gets thrown at them. So obviously, I want to get around to them right now and show you how you can play them very well because they are very important when it comes to playing a lot of the very defense-based modes. Like I feel like Occupy and Domination, they're really fantastic for those. So let me go and give you guys a brief guide on everything you need to know and help explain to you everything as well as my thoughts as usual. I'll go through everything, its abilities, show you the description, give you some of my ideas in mind for Loadout, give you my thoughts on them as we end it off, and then I'll leave it to you guys in the comments if you guys want to join for that and have some fun with that, of course. But as always, if you guys do enjoy this video and you want to show your support of the Pizza Party, please, I would recommend if you hit that sub button right now. I would appreciate your support as always. It would mean the most to me. It will help support the channel and keep me going. Make sure you leave a comment down below if you found this guide very helpful, if you want to contribute and help out for sure, or just give me your thoughts if you've been playing Phantoms as well too. And if you find this video helpful, hit the like button too. That would be fantastic as well. Most importantly, I would appreciate the support as always, of course. By the way, just a quick reminder to mention this, just for this one little video, for everyone who does not know, I actually started streaming on YouTube now. I do stream usually on Twitch and Kick, but I just started streaming on YouTube, so now I got 3 platforms I'm doing, so make sure you guys keep an eye out when I do go live anytime around the weekdays at 4 p.m. CST, or you can check me out live on Twitch and Kick if you want to as well, which will all be in my multi-link down in the description as always, of course. Now, without further ado, let's begin, and let's get started, and let's have some fun, talk about how you should play the Phantoms. Alright, so now to kick things off, we're going to start off first, of course, is going over all the abilities. So I'll go through each ability, explain to you what they do, and obviously give you a few bit of my thoughts, and then afterwards we'll just go over my loadout eventually in just a moment, and I'll talk about everything you need to know about what I personally use when I play the Phantoms, of course. As always, just so you guys know, use whatever you want. You can use any certain grenade, any weapon, it doesn't matter to me. Just use whatever you feel is right to you, so that's always a good choice by my standards. Now, let's begin the ability. Starting off, of course, is with the passive trait. We obviously know every class usually has their passive trait. 2 abilities you can choose one of them to use for your loadout, and obviously your ultra. The passive trait is known as Harden. Harden, what it does, it will increase your health to 120 HP, and that's a result of tailored gene therapies. Okay, so basically, what this passive little ability does exclusively for the Phantoms, it just increases your HP. So instead of usually having like around like 100 HP or anything lower like that, like around that time, like most people have, usually they have 120 HP. So basically, Phantoms usually can survive much more bullet attacks from each different weapon as possible against these type of weapons right there, of course. Now, obviously, one thing I'll mention real quick that is important to note is that this Harden passively with the increased HP does not, like, obviously work on every single weapon, of course, with bullets. Obviously excludes something like the TAC 50 and lower body shots of like the M44. I remember hearing about something like that. So obviously those weapons, for example, with the snipers, will still pretty much nail you down pretty hard right there and take you out on the lower body shots of it or the headshots. So obviously if you get each shot in the head by a sniper, you will still pretty much easily die from that, of course. And also, Harden will not increase the health pool while under the effects of, for example, Medico Supremo, which, as you know, is one of these ultras of the Libertad, which I talked about in one of my guide videos. You should go check that out in case you want to see about Libertad. But yeah, we basically basically will not be effective against those two weapons for snipers and also will not go any further past with the special ultra of another healer related class like Libertad. So obviously you will always stay on 120 very much. So just be mindful though, that's all you're going to go as high as possible when it comes to that completely. You will not remotely like go anywhere further than that. You will stay always on 120 HP no matter what. Alright, we'll start with two of the abilities right here. We'll start with the first one that is known as the Blitz Shield. This ability, what it does, it will allow you to pull a usable shield, and you can use it to deflect bullets, projectiles, until it's either destroyed or time runs out. Then it just goes on a nice little lengthy cooldown until you can use it again, though. It's a really good ability to help you out with deflecting a lot of projectiles, enemy damage, stuff like that. It can really do some pretty good with that. It will help you out so much, basically, easily to kind of keep things out of the way for you and protect you for sure. It can help you out, get in there and pushing the objectives and just keep enemies out of you or from shooting your teammates. And also, not only that, it allows you to bash and melee bash enemies, so you can just get up close to them and you can actually, I think, two-hit them a lot. So yeah, if you two-hit them, it can kill them pretty quickly with that. So it's a really good ability. It cannot be destroyed by like an EMP or anything else too much, seriously, unless it's involving enemy damage. So you obviously got to like shoot at it to destroy it or get behind the enemy or shoot them in the leg, obviously. It can also prevent you from sprinting, so don't think you'll be going too fast from this. So it's best to use this mostly when you're kind of got a good position yourself or you think you want to use it, obviously. Because again, you can't sprint, so you'll be slow still quite a bit. So you at your normal walkie speed as a whole. So you'll have to find a way to get around that and use that very timed well in order to get the most out of it. Otherwise, you'll just be kind of walking slowly around an area while enemies are trying to shoot at you. Alright, so moving on next now, for the second and final ability you can activate is known as the Mag Barrier. This is an electromagnetic barrier that you can place down on the ground. It will block all incoming enemy fire and grenades. Basically, you just plop this down on the ground in front of you and throw it down, and boom, it will act like a nice cool shield, and it will block all enemy fire completely. So even if you go through it and back forward, it will basically keep blocking every time when it's only for your team, when it's for your teammates at least. And you can shoot through it yourself, so you can throw grenades, shoot through it. You and your teammates will get through it, but any enemies, it will obviously reflect back off and get rid of it. So obviously it will help take on the hits for you and it will protect you completely. It's a really, really good ability for a lot of defense phases, of course. Now, one thing though is that it can block almost every enemy bullets and projectiles, but it can still actually be taken over and destroyed. You could be sabotaged by an EMP grenade. It could be hijacked by DedSec through lockout or their hijack ability. So be mindful about that, of course. Well, also it does show your health bar for it on the bottom left where you see the ability it is. So if you keep an eye out for it, you will see the health bar right down below, and you can keep track of how much health it has until it's completely destroyed, either by it being destroyed or if time runs out and it goes away. Usually it has 400 health, so it will last there for quite a while until it's destroyed, unless someone obviously hijacks it and they can use it against you, and then it means you can't use it and they can use it against you completely. Or obviously if someone throws an EMP grenade and it's completely gone just like that, no matter, even if it has 400 health, it will be instantly destroyed by an EMP grenade. It's a pretty good ability for a lot of defense, but obviously it has its own flaws, so you gotta be very careful when dealing with that for sure. It's definitely very helpful, but it can also be completely against you if it gets sabotaged against you for sure with the EMPs and also the hijack. So yeah, just watch how whenever you pop that stuff around very much. If a DedSec member just pops around there and hacks it, oh, there it goes. It's gone. Alright, now time to get started is now the Ultra. The Ultra is a very interesting one right here, so bear with me right here. This is known as Aegis, A-E-G-I-S, we'll pronounce that right there, Aegis, and is a spherical plasma shield that's combined with a point-blank electro scatter gun for close quarters combat. And when I mean close quarters, I mean very close quarters. So basically, when you plop this baby down, it will give you a couple seconds, I think like 15 seconds at least or so, allowing you to plop this big, huge scatter gun that you can use where it will slow you down completely, basically, so you can't run, obviously, of course. And basically, it will place a plasma shield that will be placed around you that will help take out all incoming enemy projectiles. Think of it like the Mag Barrier, but it's basically a huge plasma shield around you. And basically, whenever you pull this out, you can shoot out enemies when they get in the barrier with you, and you can use the Aegis gun, which will use like a scatter gun, like a typical scatter shotgun, and will instantly take out anyone who gets too close to you if you land your shots pretty well. And it will obviously help protect you for inside and outside close quarters. Now, one thing I will say though about this ability, again, like I said, is that there is some. It makes you slow. It makes you very slow. You cannot run at all. In fact, even at the normal walking speed, it's quite slow even with it as well. So you're basically going super sluggish when walking with this, of course. You're basically down to walking speed, maybe a little more slow than that, I feel like, but it's probably just down to still walking speed while using this. So you can be aggressive with this. You can't run around, obviously. And though the ability can be destroyed early if you just deplete the shield with the gunfire or using at least like a couple EMP grenades, at least also the firing skill will not deplete the Aegis faster, so you can keep using this. But obviously when using this ability, it will slow you down a lot, so you gotta be mindful that you gotta keep up when enemies are around you. You gotta be ready when using this, because there's not gonna be much you're gonna get out of this unless you're trying to do is protect your teammates at least. And even so, again, if you're not careful, you gotta watch behind you, everything, because enemy can just come up right at you and just bam you right there, even with your ultra. So it's kind of weak to me at some points here and there. Like, it's still really good, but if someone plays smart, that ability's going to be gone, or you'll just be wiped out even when you have the ability. So you got to be careful with this. But overall, it's a really good ability in some ways when it comes to playing defensively and objectively. Alright, so now that we got through all the abilities and letting you guys know what they are and what my thoughts are for all of them, let me go ahead now and explain to you my kind of loadout setup I would do whenever I play Phantoms. As always, just remember, you can use whatever you want, anything preferable you need, but these are some of my picks mostly. Now, when it comes to the weapons you use a lot, mostly again when I talk about this, it's usually just the main weapons, not secondary weapons. You can use whatever you want for that, but usually for the main weapons, I tend to choose based on what kind of role I'm playing when I play Phantoms. So mostly when I play with Phantoms, I usually use them for a lot of objective-based stuff, never really focusing on a lot of kills a lot, but you can use it for any way you want, even in TDM. But when I play objective, I usually use them two different ways. I usually use them for either long distance or mid to long distance or short distance. So if you're playing more like short range focus, so you're trying to get ready for up close and personal, usually again SMGs, shotguns, they will help you out with that. Whenever I'm dealing with like more mid to long range stuff, I always switch to AR, snipers, marksman rifles. I mostly favorably a lot we use snipers and ARs a lot more, but you can also use any of them, those other weapons if you want to, of course. But I usually use those for certain distances and usually whatever I prefer. So like one time I was playing a game of Occupy. I was worried about when we were playing on some of the very smaller type maps, so I usually just swapped over to an SMG or shotgun so I could be ready for them and just unleash them after, of course, playing a mag barrier and stuff like that. Or when I'm doing something like Mayday, which is a very long distance map, and I'm focusing on trying to get on those plane wings and guard on domination, I'm usually just swapping over to an AR or maybe a marksman or even a sniper just to practice getting snipe kills and trying to guard and protect my teammates out while they're protecting the objective, and I just get anyone trying to get close and close as possible. So you just got to kind of figure out what you want to use for those, but those are mostly preferable, what I would mostly use a lot. Now for grenades, again, you could use whatever you want for this, but I tend to use usually 3 of these type of grenades. I usually use EMP grenades, proximity mines, and sometimes maybe sticky grenades, but maybe a little swap that out and usually use frag grenades sometimes too. Typically what I usually use for these, when I play this class, when I use frag grenades, I tend to use them a lot more, especially when I play Domination Occupy, as usually if you time it right and throw it down and a lot of people are in that one spot, you can easily catch them off guard and easily just wipe them out with one single frag grenade. I've done it before where I've gotten at least like one on grenade throw at an enemy and got like 3 to 4 kills, so I did pretty good with that timing, especially when playing the objective, and just got in there and then just placed my mag barrier to help my team out get the objective. So it's a really good helpful grenade for that reason too. If you want to use sticking grenades, you can also use that as well too, but I tend to use frag grenades a lot more, probably a little bit compared to that, because at least with a frag grenade I can just time right and throw it down, and with sticky grenades you could just kind of have to like hope as you throw at an enemy, or hope the enemy is just not realizing it or not moving out of the way and they get blown up by it completely. Proximity mines are also really good for a lot of defense things. I tend to throw it down a lot in certain positions and place it there where my teammates are, so that it can at least be placed right there, and I run away as possible to get back, so I can keep up with the objective from a distance, and if the enemy gets on the objective, at least I can hopefully blow them up with that sometimes. And EMP grenades I tend to use a lot for sure, because I really love using that against many objective plays, since if I ever go against other Phantoms or anyone else that's using certain abilities, whether it be DeadSec dropping their proximity mine spamming or throwing up Spider Bot, or if anything like that happens with any Libertad dropping their El Remedio I could just easily use that down, throw it, and then boom, there you go. Again, obviously it's a 1 grenade at a time, so you got to be careful when using it, otherwise it will be gone. But I just find this very helpful a lot for sure for objectives. Again, when you're playing this type of class, this faction, I tend to like play them a lot for objective plays a lot more, because that just seems more fitting to me when you play Phantoms. So just having that EMP grenade will just help you deal with other related objective blockers, like other enemy Phantoms and Libertad and, you know, all that stuff. It just kind of helps out a lot for sure. So I love this grenade so much. It is phenomenal. It's a really good grenade so much. It's one of my favorites for sure. Now, the best thing I want to understand, though, when you're playing them is, again, with the concept of the Phantom, it's very important to play very defensive, in my opinion, and of course, as their main goal is. So if you're going out anywhere at all, try to be as heavily defensive as possible, and make sure you do this especially with your teammates. If you're playing with any of the certain abilities, just remember when you're playing with Blitz Shield, use it especially when helping your teammates out, blocking any damage, stuff like that, but especially use this for very aggressive behavior when you're trying to get in there with enemies and just go take them out. Just be mindful though that when you're using this, you won't be able to really run as much as fast as possible at all. So it's best to place it down when you think you're about to go in for enemies and bashing them, stuff like that, and take them out. Or when you're right in front of your allies, just go right into the enemy and just block the power if you can, and use that to block all damage and help your teammates out. It will really do a lot as possible to help your teammates out when you're shooting when you're using the shield to keep enemies from shooting at them and shoot at you and just take them out. Just make sure you keep your cover very easily from behind. Of course, if you have teammates, they'll help you out too. The mag barrier, just be precise about where you place it. Sometimes you go and place it at certain spots you think will be very much harmful to your teammates. So if it's certain big openings where enemies are coming through, just place that right there so you can use that so you can get one area covered and the other area basically taken care of with other teammates going through when you're playing objective a lot. So figure out good positioning in mind very much. Like, of course, if you see like one opening where enemy might vault over and another one that's open that people can just run through, maybe place the one that's run through so your teammates can have that cover, and then you can take care of the other cover where they go through the vaulting of a window, and you can easily take care of that. It really helps out a lot for sure. And when using the Ultra, again, you will be very slow with this scatter gun, but you will be protected by a plasma shield. Just be quick enough to watch out when enemies aggressively come through you, and just time your shots right very well when they get through. So, because again, it's a very small close quarters scatter gun, so you want to just be very careful when you're timing right and as enemies that play aggressive with you, because if you miss your shot, it could be game over for you completely. Alright, so finishing up right now here, let me go ahead and give you guys my thoughts on what I think about the Phantoms. Well, with the Phantoms, they're actually my least played of the factions I played before. I guess I'm just not as a big fan of them as much because they're mostly heavily focused on defense. I mean, that's the same thing I would say about with the GS Commando, but honestly with the GS Commando, I feel like there's still ways you can handle it even when you're not playing the objective and you're playing like TDM, for example. Because again, if you're using like the ADS, you can easily throw that down and help your teammates with grenades. And I especially use the electric barbed wire, especially on TDM, so I can just place that around on certain spots where enemies might not realize it, and it'll just walk right into it, and it will help me and my teammates kill them very quickly, or they'll just die from the electric barbed wire, or make it hard for them to get around. They'll have to go down different paths. So it's always something I really enjoy a lot about playing those a lot more compared to the Phantoms. The Phantoms to me, like, I think they're still fun to use, but they're just they're just not that crazy to me completely for sure. But I have a good time using them a lot, mostly when I play a lot of objective plays. I love using the Blitz Shield for TDM a lot more mostly, but I do use it every now and then on objective plays, and I love just going around just trying to time right and bash people with the melee. I have some moments where I kind of fucked up sometimes with my melee a lot, but it's fun though. I enjoy the mag barrier. That's probably one of the best abilities that the Phantoms have. I just love using it so much and just placing it for the objective and just watching as we mow them down. It's especially fun when you're playing DeadSec and use that against them and just surprise them with that. That always is so funny as well too. Aegis, the Ultra, honestly to me, like, the only, like, it's really the best when it comes to objectives. That's all I'll say. It's good for objectives, but if you're playing on like TDM mostly or something like that, it's kind of the worst. Like, it is honestly to me one of the worst ultras when you're playing just TDM, because again, you're not going to find any good use of it unless you like are with teammates, in my opinion, and just guard them a little bit. Even then, everyone's just going to be running around mostly, and you're not going to get a chance. So I just find this ability a lot worse for that mode. It's better just when you play objectives, because you just plop that down and just be in the circle area of occupier, and you're just going to be having no problem at all whatsoever trying to use the Aegis at all. I just think it's just this whole class, this faction is just made mostly just for the fact of its own defenses. If there was like a way they can make a little more alternatives for when you're just playing TDM stuff like that, maybe I'll feel a little more easier with this. But either way, though, like, I mean, mostly when I play with TDM, I'll just use the Blitz Shield course, and when I'm playing objectives, I always use the Mag Barrier, and then just try to use that Aegis Ultra constantly. It's a really good fun class in some ways, but like whenever I'm playing anything, I prefer to play mostly just like DedSec, Libertad, Echelon, and even also a GS Commando, especially just playing Echelon when I'm playing a lot of TDM or objective play sometimes too as well. I've been playing a lot more Echelon than I do play DedSec lately right now, but I still love DedSec a lot more because I'm just a huge Watch Dogs fan. But yeah, just the Phantoms are not terrible. They're not a terrible class. I don't consider them any remotely terrible. They're just not my most played personally. But I think the Phantoms are fun to play sometimes here and there. And I think they could be pretty good a lot. So definitely find some good plays out of that with the objectives. I think you guys will find some good moments out of them. Anyway, yeah, either way, I still had a good time at least trying to play the Phantoms, and I still don't mind the Phantoms a lot, but like I said, I just don't play them as much often very much, but they're still not bad to enjoy a lot, and I love just going in there when I play the objectives. I'm trying to encourage myself to play them more often, so I'll try to get some more games in with them. But anyway, folks, that is going to do it for the guide. That is it, how you play Phantoms, or at least what I explain in my little guide video. I hope you guys do find this helpful. And again, if you did, please hit the like button if you found the video helpful. Comment down below and tell me your thoughts. If you also been playing Phantoms, if you found this helpful, if you want to contribute to it, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And, you know, just let me know if you guys also do play a lot of Phantoms. And if you want to show your support to the Pizza Party, don't forget to subscribe. I will appreciate your support for that. And remember, guys, we can start streaming on YouTube now. So you'll be seeing me live on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube now. So that will be pretty awesome. So make sure to check me out on those Twitch and Kick on the links in the description below. And you can keep an eye out when I go live on YouTube as well. So keep your eyes peeled. With that being said, thank you guys for joining so much. I appreciate getting all the love and support. As always, Pizza Party, you keep on partying. I'm your host. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.